everyone, welcome back to my channel Code Mind. I'm Alpna and today we will discuss some of the important Wipro coding questions which are asked in previous year. So before going to start, please hit the subscribe button and bell icon. So shall we start now? So our first question is program to check if two given matrices are identical or not. So we will start. We had included all these things, all the header files we had included. After this, we have defined has defined n is equals to 4. We have defined it. After this, we are writing one function. So before that, we will have the main function because the execution will start from the main. So int of main. So open this one. We have first array. This one is the first matrix. So integer a of n comma n of the row of size of n, that is we have already defined it here, n to be 4. So row is 4 and column is 4. That is first matrix whose name is A. So this is this first row, this is the second row, and this is the third row, and this is the fourth row, and the values in all rows. So this is the first matrix we had defined. In the same manner, we had defined the 7 matrix with the 4 rows and 4 column with the matrix name is B. So this is the first row, this is second row values, this is third row values, and this is fourth row values. And then we are calling the function that is our same a comma b. We are calling the function our same with the parameter that is the two matrices a and b. After this statement, it will directly jump to a function that is int our same, int of this one that is taking the first array and then second array matrix. Okay. So, and the return type is of integer. After this, we are taking the two variables that is of integer data type. For I is equals to 0, I is less than n. So, n is already defined up to 4, I plus plus, and for j is equals to 0, j is less than n, j plus plus. So, already we have the two matrices of like this. A is equals to, that is 4 into 4 matrices, 1, 1 and 1 because in first row. In second row there is 2 and every column have 2 only. And in third row we have the 3. Here also we have 3, and in the fourth row we are having the 4 in all the columns. So this is our first matrix. In the same way we have the B also. B is equals to same, because here we are checking that the two matrices are identical or not. So this is first row, this is second row, this is fourth row column, sorry, this is third row with having 3 in all the columns, and this is 4. 4 in all the columns. So this is our two matrices A and B. So now we are checking that both the matrices are identical or not. So we have passed this matrix here and we have passed this matrix here when calling the function are same. So we have taken the two variables of integer data type I and 0. I is starting with 0 and I will go up to less than 4, that is 0, 1, 2 and 3, and I plus plus. In the same manner, j starts from 0. J will also go up to 3, that is less than 4, and j plus plus. So here it is, this is the index 0, 1, 2 and 3. Here this is also 0, 1, 2 and 3. So in the first way, I is equals to 0. When I is equals to 0, 0 is less than 4. The condition is true. J is equals to 0. J is less than 4. 0 is less than 4. Condition is satisfied if A of ij, that is A of 0, comma 0. That is A of 0, comma 0 is this one. Is this one is not equals to B of j. So what is B of j? That is B of 0, comma 0. That is 1. Is it not equals? No. Condition is not true. This is not satisfied. This condition is not satisfied. If this condition is not satisfied, it will not go inside this, inside the braces, and it will again continue to be j is equals to 1. So j from 0 to 1, then it is again it will check from 0 1 and 0 1. So 0 1 is 1, 0 1 is 1. So again the condition is not satisfied because both are equal. This condition is not satisfied. Again the value of j to be incremented. So in this manner it will increment it for I and j both value, and it will check for all. So in this case both are equal, that is this condition will never satisfied, so it will return 1. So it will return 1 to calling function. So this is the calling function. Now here this whole is replaced with 1. So if 1 means true, so if true, so this condition is satisfied, this is true, so it will print matrices are identical. So this is the output, that is matrices are identical will be printed. So this is the first question which is asked in the Wipro. The second question is write a program to find out sum of the digit of a given number. So this is somewhat tricky questions. So what it is saying, see here, for example, we are having a number like 2, 4 and 6. So we need to find the, just a minute, 2, 4 and 6. So write a program to find out sum of digits of a given number. So this is one digit, this is another digit of a number, and this is another digit. So sum of all the digits we need to find. That is 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 2 is your 12. So 12 must be the output of this input. Okay. So we need to write the logic for this whole. So how we will write, just see here. So has include studio.h void main, we all know. We are declaring 4 variable num, temp, digit and sum, and all are of data type long. We have initialized sum with the value 0. So printf enter the number. So we need to enter the number. So let's suppose we have entered 246, 246 we have entered the number. Scanf, so this will this will print the enter the number on the output screen or console screen, and scanf will take the number from the keyboard, that is 246 we have taken in the num. So now the num contains 246. Okay, num contains 246. So temp is equals to num. So we are giving the num value to a temporary variable, that is temp. So now the temp is also containing the 246. Okay. Now the temp is also containing what? The temp is also containing the number 246. Okay. After this one, while num is greater than 0. So this is while loop we are declaring here. So num is greater than 0. So this loop will continue until and unless the num is equals to 0. Okay. So or less than 0. This num value. So 246 is greater than 0. The condition is true. So it will come inside the loop. So digit equals to num mod 10. So modulus operator will give the remainder value. So 246 mod 10 will gives you 6. So digit contains the 6 value. So digit contains 6 value, because it will give the modulus operator gives us the remainder. So 6 will be the digit. So this we got the last digit of a number, that is 6. Now sum is equals to sum plus digit. So sum is equals to, we initialize the sum value with the 0. So 0 plus 6 is equals to 6. Now 6 is stored in sum. Now num divide num. This means that this is the shortcut. Num is equals to num divided by 10. So division operator will gives you the quotient. So num is equals to 246. 246 divided by 10 will gives you 24. So the value will be changed to 24 because it is 2. So is 24 greater than 0? Condition is still true. So it will come inside the loop. So digit is equals to num mod 10. So again we are doing the modulus operation. So digit equals to mod 10. So it will gives the remainder. So remainder is equals to 4. So now it gives the second digit of the number, that is 4. So now sum plus digit. So already Here we need to change it to the digit is equals to 4. Here it is digit equals to num mod 10, which will give the last value of the number. So 4 is stored here, not to be here. Okay, here it is 6 only. Just a minute. Yeah, here it is your 6 only. Here it is 6 only because 0 plus 6 is 6. Now sum is equals to sum plus digit. So already we have 6 and digit is 4. Now both is 6 plus 4 is equals to 10. We need to write it here 10. Now num divided by is equals to num divided by 10. That is stored in num. So it will give the quotient value. So 24 divided by 10 will give you 2. So this here it is 2. So in num we have stored 2. So is 2 is greater than 0? Yes. So now digit equals to 2 mod 10. So 2 mod 10 is equals to 2 only. So in digit we will get the 2. Now we got the third digit of a number. So sum equals to sum plus digit. So sum is already 10. 10 plus 2 is equals to 12. Now num divided by 10. So this divided by 10 will give you something 0 point. Okay. So now it is 0. Now in integer value, because we are doing the integer division, num is integer. We had taken everything to be an integer, long integer. That's why we need to have, that's why we will take only the 0, not after the decimal parts. So 0 is greater than 0. This is false. So it comes out of this loop. Okay. So now it will print given number, that is temp, given number, that is temp, that is 246. Okay. After this, print sum of the digit, that is temp sum of the digit. It will print 246 and the sum of the digit is equals to, this is the number what we have given and the sum of the digit is equals to 10. So this is our output of this question. Okay. Now the third question is, write a program to print a Fibonacci series of a given range. So Fibonacci series is what, like 1 and 1 we are having. So the sum of the previous two is the third number or the next number. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2 will be the next number. This is called the Fibonacci series. So 2 plus 1 is equals to 3. 3 plus 2 is equals to 5. The sum of the previous two number will be the next number, that is called the Fibonacci series. So this is the Fibonacci series. So we begin with here. So we have taken the two variable a and b and initialized with 1 and having the data type of the long, and c is another variable. Under we have taken integer variable, that is I and n. These are the two variables of the integer data type and we have taken enter n. So we have, let's suppose we have entered the n is equals to 5. Okay. So now enter the n value, scan a %n, that is 5 is scanned from the keyboard. Now print Fibonacci series as shown in figure. If n is equals to 1, is n is equals to 1? If the n is equals to 1, we only have to print this one. Because there is nothing, we just only n equals to 1. So we want to print only a and b. But and here the value of n is 5, which is not equals to 1. So what we need to do? So here the n is equals to 5. Just remember this one. Okay. So if else if n is greater than 1, yes, 5 is greater than 1. So what we need to do is printf a comma b. So for initially we had printed 1 and 1. After this we have taken the third variable c, in which we didn't initialize the c. Here we initialize the a with the 1 and b with the 1. So we had already printed. Now c is equals to a plus b. So 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Now c contains the value 2. So in the do while loop, this is the do while loop, we will first enter into the loop and then second we will check the condition. So first of all we will print the c value, that is 2 we will print, and then the value of b is assigned to a. So b contains the 1, so that is assigned in a, and then value of c is assigned to b. Now c contains 2, that is assigned to b. Now c is equals to a plus b. So 2 plus 1 is 3, which is stored in c. So while c is less than equals to n, so now we will check the condition c, that is 3 is less than equals to 5. Yes, the condition is true. So again it will go and it will print the C, that is it will print the C. Now again the B value is to be stored in A. So B is 2, so it is stored in A. Now C value is stored in B. So C is 3, so it is stored in B. And C is equals to A plus B. So A plus B is 3 plus 2, that is 5. It is stored in C. Now again we will check that is 5 is less than equals to 5. Yes, condition is still true. So again we will go into a loop and then we will print the value of C, that is 5. This is our output. Okay. So we printed the value of the C, that is 5. Now again we will store the B value, that is 3 in the A and C value in the B. So C is 5, so we will store 5 in the B. Now C is equals to A plus B, 5 plus 3, that is 8. 8 is stored in C. So while 8 is less than equals to n, 8 is less than equals to 5, the condition is false. It will comes out of the loop and it will print 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Like this, it already printed. So this is the Fibonacci series when n is equals to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 values are printed. Okay. The next question. So write a program to swap two numbers without using third variable. This is very important question. This question is asked in every interview question. So focus on this one. So we need to swap the two numbers without using the third variable. If we use a third variable, it is quite very easy to swap the two numbers. But we need to swap the two numbers without using a third variable. So here we will have the three methods to swap the two numbers without using third variable. So first one is by using a plus and minus operator. Okay. So here we will take the int A is equals to 10 and B equals to 10. Let's suppose that we have taken the two variable A and B in which we have assigned any number you can give, of course. Here we have assigned 10 and 20 of integer data type we had taken. That's why we assigned 10 and 20. So we will print before the swap. So this statement will print the A is equals to 10. So this statement will print A is equals to 10 and B is equals to 20. Now we need to swap. So we have assigned A is equals to A plus B. So A is equals to 10, B is equals to 20. So 20 plus 10 is equals to 30. Now 30 is assigned into A. So 30 is assigned into A. Now B is equals to A minus B. So now the A value is your 30. Okay. Now the A value is your 30. Now 30 minus B value is still your 20 only. So 30 minus 20 is 10. Now the B value is your 10. Okay. Now again A is equals to A minus B. Now A is equals to 30. 30 minus 10 is equals to 20. So A is equals to 20. So after this we will print after swap A and B value. So now the A value is your 20 and B value is your 10. This is 30 minus 10. We need to store it here also. 20 will be 30 minus 10, that is 20. So A value is 20 and B value is 10. So initially A value is 10 and B value is 20. Now A value is 20 and B value is 10. So the two numbers are swapped without using a third variable. The second method is by using a star and division operator. Okay. So sorry, I forgot to write here has include. Yeah. So int main, open that one, open brace and close brace. So int A is equals to 10 and B equals to 20. Here also we have taken the two variables of the integer data type with the values 10 and 20 initialization. So before here also we had printed A and B values. So here also A value and B value is printed as it is. A is equals to 10 and B is equals to 20. Okay. B is equals to 20. Fine. Now we need by using a star and division operator we are using. So A equals to A into B. So A is equals to A. 10 into 20 is equals to 200. So this 200 is stored in A. So now A contains 200. Fine. Now B is equals to A divided by B. So A is 200. 200 divided by 20 is equals to 10. So now B contains the value that is 10. Now again A is equals to A divided by B. So now A is 200 and B is 10. So 200 divided by 10 is equals to 20. So now A contains 20. So is the value swapped? Yes. Because initially A contains 10 and B contains 20. Now A contains 20 and B contains 10. So the after swap value here we will print the A is equals to 20. A is equals to 20 and B is equals to 10. Fine. So this is swap. Now the third one, which is little bit complex. So in this we will use the bitwise XOR operator. Okay. So in bitwise XOR operator, we have 1 0, then it will consider to be 1. 0 1 it will consider to be 1. But if your 1 and 1 bitwise OR operation, it will take 0, or 0 and 0 it will take 0. This is little bit explanation about the bitwise operator. Okay. XOR operator, bitwise XOR. So int x is equals to 10, y equals to 5. So here we will take x equals to 10 and y is equals to 5. These are the two variables. Here we have taken x is equals to 10 and y is equals to 5. So this is in the format of the binary number, that is x equals to 10 for 10. This is the binary format, and for y this is the binary format. Okay. So x is equals to x XOR y. So x is this much XOR of y. So XOR of y we get the x equals to 15. How I will show you. This is 1 0 1 0. This is the binary value for the x, and this is the binary value for the y. So as I explained it here, that is this concept is only applied. So 0 and 1. So 0 and 1 it will take it as a 1. 1 and 0 it will take it as 1. Again 0 and 1 it will take it as 1. And 1 and 0 XOR of 1. So this is 1 1 1, whose value is 15. Decimal value of this is 15. So x is equals to 15. Now the x value is 15. After this one, y is equals to XOR of y. So now x contains this one, y contains your same, because y value is not changed. 5 binary value is this one. So 0, 1, 0 and 1. So 1 and 1 is your 0. So this will 0, 1 and 0. 1 and 0 is your 1. Again 1 and 1 is your 0, and 1 and 0 is your 1. So this, the decimal value of this is 10. So y equals to 10, whose binary value is this much. After this again x is equals to x XOR of y. So now this y contains this much, means now the next value of y is equals to 10. So now y is this much and x is 15. So 15 value is this much and y value is this much. So x value is 4 1 and y value is 1 0 1 and 0. So we need to perform the XOR operation on x and y, and that value is stored in x. So 1 and 0 is 1, 1 and 1 is 0, 1 and 0 is 1, and 1 and 1 is 0. So what's the value of this much? Is the 5. So this is the decimal value for this is 5. So now x is equals to 5. So is it swapped? Yes. Initially y contains 5 and x contains 10. Now x contains 5 and y contains 10. So our output of this question is, x is equals to 5 and y is equals to 10. Fine. So that's all for today. Thank you. If you like the video, please hit the like and subscribe button and press the bell icon to get the latest notification from my side. Thank you. Bye.